Hello and welcome back. This is Lance Dixon with Curriculum and Training Systems, and we want to thank you again for tuning in as we discuss a little bit more on learning techniques and foundational principles of learning. Last week we talked about APPLE techniques. APPLE is an acronym that we use for questioning skills. The acronym stands for ASK, you ask the student a question. Pause, you give them some time to kind of consider what you're asked. You pick someone specifically, preferably by name, to answer that question. Listen, most important, listen to what the listener or what the student has to say as he's answering your question. And lastly, emphasize. Emphasize the correct answer. Now this week, we're going to speak to you about different ways people learn. Now, we're not talking about the laws of learning. We're just talking about ways people learn. One of the first ways, and one of the most natural, is imitation. I see you do it, and I do what you did. Simple. I'm imitating your behavior. I'm imitating your actions. I'm imitating your response. This is how little children learn things from their parents. Sometimes it's not always positive. That's why parents have to be very careful of what they say and do around their children. But imitation is a way that people learn. The next way is trial and error. I try something, I do something, I have a project, I work on it, I make some mistakes, I figure out what I did wrong, I do it again, I make some more mistakes, I do it again, and I go back and forth with this process until such time as I figure out how to do or learn the information correctly. Not necessarily the best way of learning, but it's still a way that people learn. It's more learning by doing. A perfect example is putting together a bike and reading the instructions. A lot of times, especially men, we'll put the instructions aside and try and put together the bike. Then we see we make errors, then we go back and we do it again, and then we see we got more errors, then we'll pick up the instruction. Trial and error. But eventually we learn how to put the bike together. Now the next one is association. Now association is more of a mental activity. And what you're doing here is you're comparing something that you did in the past to a new situation. There may be some similarities, and you're associating what you did in the past with what you're doing now. And you're using that information that you already know and actually trying to compare it to the new information and kind of trying to figure out what the similarities are. That's association. It's a good learning technique. It's another way that people learn. Then there's insight. Insight, we call it that aha moment. It's one of those things that as an instructor or facilitator you really can't control, but you can recognize. What happens is, based on information that a learner has received, he puts it together and he has that now I understand or now I get it moment. Not necessarily based on anything that you may have said at that moment, but based on an accumulation of a variety of things that you may say. Insight. It is a way that people learn. And the last one is transfer. Now transfer may be close to association. The difference is with transfer, instead of quote unquote comparing past learning with new learning, you're actually applying what you learned in the past to what you're doing in the future or the new learning. Now let me give you an example. Every young person they like the new Xboxes and those type of video games. And every year something new comes out. So you have the old game and you know how to use it. But now the new game has come out. A few different rules, different technique, different buttons to push. But based on what you learned from the old game, you actually take that information and apply it to the new game. So the only thing that you're really picking up that's new is not the whole instruction, but just the individual part that wasn't with the old game. That's all we have for this week. If anything we said was helpful in any way, please subscribe to our channel. Also, if you have peers or friends that's also interested in learning and teaching and facilitating, share the video with them. They may be able to get some valuable insights as well. At the bottom of the page, you will see links that will share with you a little bit of information about curriculum and training system, our products, and some of the services that we offer. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week.